Stop everything you're doing right now and answer honestly. How many times today have you been trapped in a mental loop, thinking about the same situation, simulating conversations that will never happen, creating catastrophic scenarios about things that don't even exist yet? You call it overthinking. I'm going to tell you what it really is: a mental virus. Malware installed in your brain that consumes all your energy, paralyzes your actions, and transforms your mind into a battlefield. And today, you're going to learn how to uninstall it forever. But first, let me show you how this virus operates. Imagine a city of obsidian and light. In it lived a woman named Lyra, a data weaver. She had a rare gift. She could transform raw information into complex and beautiful code using only her mind. But this gift hid a curse. Before every project, the same ritual repeated itself. A single innocent question arose. What if I fail? And then, the chaos began. This question multiplied. What if they hate my work? What if I make a mistake in a line of code? What if they discover I'm a fraud? 1,000 ghost simulations took over her mind. Her workshop, which should have been a place of creation, became a prison of possibilities. Sound familiar? Of course it does. Because you've been there. That important email you've rewritten 15 times and still haven't sent. That difficult conversation you've rehearsed hundreds of times in your head but never had. That project you postpone because it needs to be perfect. This isn't prudence. It's not planning. It's the malware in action. Studies show that we spend about 47% of our waking time thinking about something different from what we're actually doing. Almost half of your life is being consumed by unproductive mental processes. This isn't a small problem. This is an epidemic. Exhausted from the internal noise, Lyra sought out Master Elian. She found him in his atelier, calmly observing the silent, steady glow of his holographic bonsai. "Master," Lyra began, her voice tight with anxiety, "my mind is too loud. It builds mazes faster than I can solve them. How do I think less?" Elian turned his gaze from the hologram to her and said something that would change everything. "Your problem is not that you think, it's that you've forgotten how to stop." He continued, "You are not the author of this looping code. You have simply become its user, believing you have no choice but to run the program." Let me explain what this means in practice. Elian materialized a hologram of a brain in the air. Inside it, a single flashing red process began to appear, and then this process multiplied, chaotic threads consuming all the calm, blue energy of the brain. "This is the malware," Elian explained. "It's a ghost process. It simulates threats but produces no outcome. It exists only to replicate itself, feeding on your focus." Lyra stared at the chaos. "But how do I fight it? How do I delete it?" "You don't fight it," Elian said. "That gives it more power. You don't delete it. That creates a void. You simply disengage from it. Here's the truth nobody tells you. You are not the storm of thoughts. You are the silence that observes the storm." Elian showed Lyra a small point of white light in the hologram, separate from the red malware. "This is you," he said. "The true user, the consciousness." That point of light moved like a cursor, selected the entire red process, and a single option appeared. End task. Your power is not to fight the program. It's to choose not to run it. Do you understand what this means? You don't need to defeat your thoughts. You need to stop thinking you're obligated to follow them. The thoughts in your head are not commands. They are suggestions. And now, I'm going to teach you the exact protocol to uninstall this malware. This is the Mental Malware Uninstall Protocol. 3 simple but powerful steps. First, acknowledge and label. When the loop starts, don't panic. Don't judge. Simply observe. Say internally, "The overthinking malware is running now." Sounds simple? It is. But it's revolutionary. When you label the thought, you create a separation. You are no longer the thought. You are the one observing the thought. It's the difference between being trapped inside a horror movie and watching it, knowing it's fiction. Let's say you're going to give a presentation. Your brain starts, What if I forget everything? What if they laugh at me? What if... Stop. Label it. Ah, the malware is running. Interesting. Done. You're no longer inside the program. You're observing it from the outside. Second step, isolate the core query. The malware always starts with a single question. 1. And then it creates 1,000 simulations from it. Your mission? Find the root question. Usually it's something like, what if I'm not good enough? What if they reject me? What if I fail? When you isolate this question, something incredible happens. You realize it's empty. It has no real power. It's just a question about a future that doesn't exist. All those 1,000 simulations are nothing but branches of a single corrupted file. And when you see this clearly, the house of cards collapses. Third and final step, deactivate with a physical anchor. Here's the secret that changes everything. You cannot think your way out of a thought loop. It would be like trying to put out fire with gasoline. You need to act. Here are 3 options. Option 1, 4-7-8 breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Do this 3 times. It is impossible to continue in the loop while doing this correctly. Option 2, the feet anchor. Literally feel your feet on the ground. The texture of your socks, the weight of your body, the temperature. This brings you back to the present, where the malware cannot operate. Option 3, the ice technique. Run cold water over your hands for 30 seconds. The sensory shock interrupts the neural circuit of overthinking. When you activate your physical senses, you activate different areas of the brain. The prefrontal cortex, where overthinking happens, literally loses resources. It's like forcing the closure of a frozen program. This physical action is you clicking End Task. Simple as that. Lyra returned to her workshop, and when the what-if thoughts began to spiral, she didn't fight. She labeled malware running. She isolated the root question. Then she took 3 deep breaths, focusing only on the air filling her lungs. The noise disappeared. The loop broke. And in the silence, she began to create. You deserve this silence. You deserve to have your mental energy back. You deserve to stop living inside simulations and start living in reality. Here's the final truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the administrator of the system. You decide which programs to run. Overthinking only has power because you gave it permission. Now you know how to revoke that permission. 3 steps. Acknowledge and label. Isolate the core query. Deactivate with a physical anchor. Simple? Yes. Easy? No. It will require practice. But each time you do this, the malware gets weaker, and you get stronger. If this video gave you clarity, if you finally understood that you're not condemned to be a hostage to your own mind, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because the optimizations for your mental system have only just begun. The next update is already on its way, and you'll want to be here when it arrives. Remember, silence is not emptiness, it's power. Until the next optimization.